It's 11:47 p.m. You're lying next to her. The room is dark, silent. The only sound is the faint hum of the ceiling fan spinning above you. The only light comes from her phone screen, reflected on her face like a pale blue ghost. She's scrolling. Again, her thumb moves in that hypnotic rhythm. Up, down, top, swipe. You haven't said a word in 20 minutes. She hasn't looked at you once. And somewhere deep inside, you feel it. That cold, empty feeling. Like you're invisible. Like you're not enough. Like something else has her attention, and you don't know what it is. You clear your throat. Nothing. You shift your weight. Nothing. You wonder if you should say something. But what? Put your phone away? That starts a fight. What are you looking at? That sounds insecure. So you say nothing. You just lie there, next to her, alone. Let me explain why. This isn't about social media addiction. This isn't about her being rude or disrespectful. This isn't about TikTok or Instagram or whatever app she's scrolling through. This is about something far deeper. Something most men don't see until it's too late. Something that's slowly destroying your relationship while you sleep right next to her. It's about emotional displacement. It's about what psychologists call digital attachment. And it's destroying modern relationships without anyone noticing. You think she's just checking Instagram. You think she's just replying to a friend. You think it's harmless. But here's the truth. Her phone is filling a void that you're not filling. And that's not an insult. That's not an attack. That's psychology. Let me take you inside her mind. The illusion of connection. Women are wired for emotional connection. Not physical presence. Not your effort. Not your money. Not your loyalty. Not even your love. Connection. The feeling that someone sees her, understands her, responds to her emotions in real time. The feeling that her inner world matters to someone. And here's the problem. You're not giving her that. Not because you don't care. Not because you're a bad person. But because you don't know how. So she turns to her phone. Every notification is a hit of dopamine. Every like, every comment, every message, it tells her brain, you matter. You exist. Someone out there is thinking about you. And when you're sitting right next to her, silent, distracted, emotionally unavailable, her phone becomes the only thing that makes her feel alive. That's not love. That's survival. You see, her phone isn't the problem. You are. And before you get defensive, before you close this video, before you say this doesn't apply to me, let me be clear. This isn't about blame. This is about awareness. Because most men are emotionally asleep. They think being present means being physically there. They think love means providing, protecting, staying loyal. They think showing up to dinner is enough. They think paying the bills is enough. They think not cheating is enough. But women don't feel loved through logic. They don't feel connected through your resume. They don't feel seen through your bank account. They feel loved through emotional resonance, through depth, through presence, through the feeling that you actually give a damn about what's happening inside her head. And when you stop giving her that, she finds it somewhere else. The psychology of emotional hunger. There's a concept in psychology called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You don't know when the reward is coming, so you keep checking. You keep pulling the lever. You keep spinning the wheel. You keep hoping. Her phone gives her that. Every time she unlocks it, there's a chance someone reached out. Someone noticed her. Someone gave her the emotional feedback you stopped giving months ago. Maybe it's a comment on her story. Maybe it's a message from a friend. Maybe it's just a notification that someone liked her post from 3 weeks ago. Doesn't matter. Her brain registers it as, someone cares, someone is paying attention, someone sees me. And the more she checks, the more her brain craves it. It becomes a loop, a dependency, an attachment. But here's what you need to understand. She's not attached to the phone. She's attached to the feeling it gives her. The feeling of being wanted, being seen, being emotionally engaged. The feeling that she still matters to someone. And you stopped making her feel that way. Maybe you got comfortable. Maybe the honeymoon phase ended and you thought you could relax. Maybe you stopped asking her how she feels. Maybe you stopped looking at her the way you used to, like she was the most fascinating person you'd ever met. Maybe your conversations became transactional, functional, boring. How was your day? Fine. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Did you pick up the dry cleaning? Yeah, that's not intimacy. That's roommates. That's business partners. That's two people sharing space, but not sharing life. And when a woman feels like a roommate instead of a lover, she detaches. Not loudly, not dramatically, not with a big announcement. Silently. She picks up her phone. She scrolls. She disappears into a digital world where people still react to her, where she still feels something. The hidden truth about attention. Here's what most men don't realize. Attention isn't the same as presence. You could be sitting next to her for hours and still give her nothing. Because she doesn't want your body. She doesn't want you in the room. She wants your mind, your curiosity, your emotional depth, your genuine interest in who she is. When was the last time you asked her a question you didn't know the answer to? When was the last time you looked at her, really looked at her, and tried to understand what she's feeling without her having to say it? When was the last time you made her feel like the most interesting person in the room? If you can't remember, she can't either. And that's why she's on her phone. Because someone in her DMs is asking her questions. Someone is curious. Someone is making her feel seen. And no, it's not always another man. Sometimes it's just strangers online. Sometimes it's her friends. Sometimes it's just the algorithm feeding her content that makes her feel understood. Content that says, you're not alone. Other people feel this way too. You're seen. But the point is this, you're not doing it. You stopped being emotionally present. You stopped engaging her mind. You stopped making her feel alive. And her phone, that little glowing rectangle, became her escape. Her comfort, her emotional replacement for you. That's the hidden attachment. And it's not about the device. It's about what the device represents, the absence of you, the cycle of neglect. Let me show you exactly how this plays out. Step by step, stage by stage. This is the cycle that kills relationships. And you're probably in it right now without even knowing. Stage 1. You stop being curious. You stop asking deep questions. You stop engaging her emotionally. You think you're just settling in or getting comfortable. But she notices. She feels it. The shift, the change, the distance. But she doesn't say anything. Because women don't always speak their pain directly. They test you. They pull back slightly. They wait to see if you'll notice. They want to see if you care enough to ask, hey, are you okay? You seem distant. Stage 2. You don't notice. You think everything's fine. You think she's just tired. You think she's stressed about work. You think it's her time of the month. So you do nothing. You keep living your life. You keep doing exactly what you've been doing. And she interprets your inaction as disinterest, as emotional laziness, as proof that you don't really care about her inner world. Stage 3. She picks up her phone. Not to hurt you. Not to make you jealous. Not to punish you. Just to feel something. To fill the emotional gap you're leaving. To get that hit of connection, validation, engagement. And it works. For a moment. She feels seen. She feels engaged. She feels alive. Someone liked her photo. Someone commented something funny. Someone sent her a meme that made her laugh. Small things. Insignificant things. But things that make her feel less alone. Stage 4. You notice she's on her phone. And you get frustrated. You say, you're always on that thing. She says, so what? You say, we're supposed to be spending time together. She says, we are together. You say, yeah, but you're not even looking at me. She says, you're not talking to me. And now you're fighting about the symptom, not the cause. Because the cause is you. Your emotional absence. Your lack of presence. Your failure to make her feel connected. Stage 5. The fight ends. You both go silent. She picks up her phone again. You pick up yours. Now you're both scrolling. Both disconnected. Both alone, together. And the cycle repeats. Over and over. Deeper and deeper. Until one day, she's not just emotionally detached. She's done. She's gone. And you'll never understand why. You'll say, but I was there. I was always there. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't hurt her. And you'll be right. But you also didn't connect with her. And in the end, that's what killed it. What she's really looking for. Here's what she won't tell you. Because most women don't even consciously know this themselves. She doesn't want more time with you. She wants more depth. She doesn't want you to stop her from using her phone. She wants you to give her a reason not to. She wants you to make her feel something real. She wants you to look at her like you did in the beginning. Like she's someone worth knowing. someone worth exploring, someone worth losing yourself in. She wants that spark back, that intensity, that feeling of being truly seen by another human being. She wants conversations that don't feel like checklists. She wants eye contact that says, I see you. I'm here. I care. She wants emotional presence, not physical proximity. But most men don't give her that. They give her routines, predictability, safety, comfort. And while safety is important, while comfort is valuable, it's not enough. Because humans don't bond over safety. They bond over emotional intensity, over curiosity, over feeling truly seen, over vulnerability, over depth. And when you stop giving her that, when you stop creating those moments of real connection, her phone becomes her escape, her source of dopamine, her replacement for emotional intimacy. Think about it. When was the last time you had a conversation with her that made her eyes light up? When was the last time she told you something about herself that you didn't already know? When was the last time you surprised her with your curiosity, your depth, your emotional intelligence? If it's been weeks, or worse, months, then you're already losing her. And her phone is just a symptom. The evolutionary context. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about why this matters so much to women specifically. Why her phone becomes such a powerful replacement for you. Why emotional connection is the currency of female attraction. Evolutionarily, women are wired to seek emotional security, not financial security. That's a modern misconception. Emotional security. The feeling that the person she's with understands her, can read her emotions, can respond to her needs without her having to explicitly state them every single time. Why? Because for thousands of years, a woman's survival and her children's survival depended on having a partner who was emotionally attuned, who could sense danger, who could read social dynamics, who could navigate complex emotional landscapes. A man who was emotionally intelligent was a man who could protect, provide, and parent effectively. That's still wired into female psychology today. When a woman feels emotionally connected to you, when she feels understood by you, her brain registers you as safe, as valuable, as worthy of her investment. But when you become emotionally unavailable, when you stop engaging her on that level, her brain starts to question your value. Not consciously, not logically, but instinctively. Her attraction starts to fade. Her investment starts to decrease. She starts to pull back. And that's when the phone comes in. Because the phone gives her a simulation of emotional connection. It's not real. It's not as deep as what you could give her. But it's something. And something is better than nothing. The modern dilemma. Here's where it gets even more complicated. We're living in a time when emotional connection is both more craved and more rare than ever before. Think about it. We're more connected than any generation in human history. We have smartphones, social media, instant messaging, video calls. We can reach anyone, anywhere, anytime. And yet, we're lonelier than we've ever been. Why? Because digital connection isn't real connection. It's a simulation, a shadow, a cheap imitation of the real thing. But our brains haven't evolved to tell the difference yet. Our brains still get that hit of dopamine when we see a notification. Still feel that spark of validation when someone likes our post. Still experience that sense of connection when someone responds to our message. So what happens? We start replacing real connection with digital connection. We start scrolling instead of talking. We start texting instead of calling. We start consuming content instead of creating experiences. And relationships suffer. You're lying next to her. She's scrolling. You're wondering why she's not talking to you. But here's the question. When was the last time you gave her something worth putting the phone down for? When was the last time you were more interesting, more engaging, more emotionally present than her Instagram feed? That's the standard now. You're not just competing with other men. You're competing with an algorithm designed by the smartest engineers in the world to be as addictive as possible. An algorithm that learns exactly what she likes, exactly what keeps her engaged, exactly what makes her feel something. And you're giving her the same conversation you had yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. No wonder she's scrolling. The power of emotional engagement. So what do? How do you break this cycle? How do you become more interesting than her phone? How do you make her want to put it down and actually connect with you? You become present. Not physically, emotionally. You start asking her real questions. Not, how was your day? Everyone asks that. That's autopilot. That's what coworkers say to each other in the elevator. Ask her, what's been on your mind lately? Ask her, what's something you've been feeling that you haven't said out loud? Ask her, if you could change one thing about your life right now, what would it be? Ask her, what's something you've been curious about? Ask her, when's the last time you felt truly excited about something? These questions require thought. They require depth. They open doors. They create space for real conversation. And then, this is critical, you listen. Not to respond, not to fix, not to offer solutions, just to understand. You give her your full attention. No phone, no TV, no distractions, just you and her. Two people trying to understand each other. Two people creating a moment of real connection. You look at her when she talks. You notice her body language. You pick up on her tone. You ask follow-up questions that show you're actually processing what she's saying. You reflect back what you're hearing. So it sounds like you're feeling. This is emotional presence. This is what makes a woman feel seen. This is what creates attraction. This is what makes her put the phone down. Because here's the truth. Her phone can't compete with real connection. It can only compete with the absence of it. When you show up emotionally, when you engage her mind, when you make her feel alive, she puts the phone down. Not because you asked, not because you demanded it, because she doesn't need it anymore, because you're giving her something better, the uncomfortable reality. But let's be honest, most of you won't do this. Most of you will keep doing what you're doing. You'll keep sitting next to her in silence. You'll keep scrolling your own phone. You'll keep having the same shallow conversations. You'll keep wondering why she feels distant. Why? Because real emotional engagement is hard. It requires effort. It requires vulnerability. It requires you to be present, to be curious, to actually care about her inner world. And most men aren't willing to do that. They'd rather blame her phone, blame social media, blame her friends, blame anything except themselves. And one day, she'll leave. Or she'll stay, but emotionally check out completely. She'll become a ghost in your relationship. Physically there, but emotionally gone. And you'll wonder what happened. You'll say, we just grew apart. You'll say, she changed. You'll say, it wasn't meant to be. But the truth is simpler. You stopped showing up. You stopped being emotionally present. You stopped making her feel seen. And she found that feeling somewhere else. Maybe not in another person. Maybe just in the digital world, in the comments, in the likes, in the endless scroll of content that makes her feel less alone. That's the uncomfortable reality. You're losing her, not to another man, not to her phone, to your own emotional laziness, to your unwillingness to show up, to your failure to create real connection. And the worst part? She's giving you signs. Every time she picks up that phone while you're sitting right there, she's telling you something. She's saying, I need more. I need depth. I need you to wake up. I need you to be present. I need you to make me feel alive again. But you're not listening. You're too busy being frustrated that she's on her phone. Too busy feeling rejected. Too busy making it about you instead of seeing what's really happening. The deep psychology of validation. Let's talk about validation for a moment, because this is at the core of everything. Women seek validation differently than men. Men typically seek validation through achievement, through respect, through competence. Women seek validation through connection, through being seen, through emotional attunement. When a woman posts something on social media and gets likes and comments, her brain registers that as, people see me, people acknowledge me, I matter. It's a form of social validation. And when she's not getting that validation from you, when you're not seeing her, acknowledging her, making her feel like she matters, she'll seek it elsewhere. This isn't weakness. This isn't insecurity. This is human psychology. We all need to feel seen. We all need to feel like we matter. The difference is where we seek that feeling. And right now, she's seeking it from her phone because you stopped giving it to her. Think about the early days of your relationship. You were curious about everything. You asked questions. You listened. You noticed details. You made her feel like the most fascinating person in the world. You gave her your full attention, and she loved it. She felt alive around you. What changed? You got comfortable. You stopped trying. You thought you'd won her so you could relax. But relationships don't work that way. Connection isn't a destination, it's a practice. Something you have to maintain, something you have to nurture, something that dies when you stop feeding it. And you stop feeding it. So she's feeding it elsewhere. The choice. So here's where you are. Right now, reading this. You have a choice. You can keep doing what you're doing. Keep being physically present, but emotionally absent. Keep blaming her phone for the distance between you. Keep wondering why she doesn't look at you the way she used to. Keep watching your relationship slowly die while you lie next to each other every night, both scrolling, both alone. Or you can wake up. You can start showing up emotionally. You can start asking real questions. You can start making her feel alive again. You can remind her why she chose you in the first place. You can become the kind of man she doesn't need to escape from. Because that's what this is really about. She's escaping. Her phone is her escape pod from a relationship that's become emotionally empty. From conversations that feel like routines. From a connection that's become a checklist. But you can change that. Today. Tonight. Right now. Put your own phone down. Look at her. Really look at her. And say something real. Ask her something you genuinely want to know. Create a moment of actual connection. Show her that you're still in there. That you still care. That she still matters to you. That's not manipulation. That's not a tactic. That's leadership. That's emotional intelligence. That's love. But it requires effort. It requires awareness. It requires you to stop being comfortable and start being present. It requires you to compete not with other men, but with an algorithm. To be more interesting than her feed. More engaging than her stories. More present than the digital world trying to steal her attention. Can you do that? Are you willing to do that? Most men aren't. Most men will watch this video, nod along, and then go back to doing exactly what they've been doing. And their relationships will continue to decay. Slowly, quietly, until one day they're just two strangers sharing a bed. Don't be most men. Final truth. It's 11:47 p.m. She's lying next to you, scrolling, the blue light flickering across her face. And you have two options. You can roll over and go to sleep. You can let the resentment build. You can keep watching her disappear into that screen night after night. Or you can put your hand on her shoulder. You can wait for her to look at you. And when she does, you can say, "Hey, talk to me. What's really going on in your head right now?" One option keeps the cycle going. The other breaks it. The choice is yours. But remember this, her phone isn't the enemy. Your absence is. Your emotional unavailability is. Your failure to create real connection is. And the moment you become emotionally present, the moment you give her real connection, real curiosity, real depth, that phone becomes just another object. Meaningless. Forgotten. Because people don't choose screens over people. They choose screens over emptiness. And if you're not filling that space with real connection, something else will. That's the hidden attachment. And now you know. The question is, what are you going to do about it?